Oh.
Sebastian call.
Decides just to call. See the river card. And it is.
The river card is a 9 of clubs.
And there are 3 clubs out there.
Well, it's blind on blind, and no raise before the flop, so obviously a huge range for both of these players. Now, this is an interesting bet on the river because
Martin bets 75,000.
He should be betting here for value.
Well, there's the call from Sebastian.
Please.
Let's have a look at the
King
hands.
4, 2 pairs for Martin, and King 9, 2 better pairs for Sebastian.
Wow, I said it was unlikely they had a king or an ace. They both had kings.
And Martin Nilsson was betting for value there. Actually, he value owned himself because he was betting for value. The other guy had the better 2 pairs.
King 8 and him there, maybe a bluff or an ace. 2 pairs.
Martin shaking his head. And Sebastian himself said, suck out.
Yeah, he can afford it though. It's still over $1 million in chips.
Yeah, I mean, that was a small pot for these 2 huge stacks to play.
I think I lost minimum on that hand. A re-raise, I would definitely. If you check raised me, I would definitely fold.
Yeah.
Interesting, our 2 big chip stacks are drawn together either side of the dealer. First time they've bumped heads. You'd have thought by and large they'd avoid each other, but the cards may dictate otherwise. We'll see.
Drenu Keller counting out chips here.
Haven't seen too much from him yet, have we? But he's opening under the gun here.
Jason pass.
Oh, Mike found a customer.
How much the raise?
Chartier just getting a count on this raise.
82,000.
Chartier looks like he's got a marginal hand. Looks like he's about to throw it away as well. Maybe not.
I think he's...
Oh, now it looks like he's going to play.
Yeah, I think the decision is, do I re-raise or call and see a flop? Bearing in mind there are players to act behind him.
Yes, there are, and aggressive players as well. So calling is not without jeopardy here. If he does have a marginal hand, like I don't know, ace queen off or 8 or something, calling is potentially not the best move because it opens up a squeezing opportunity for one of these aggressive players.
Yeah, the notorious squeeze play.
Well, I tell you, Rothenberg here is going to be tempted, and it's going to be a lot of whether he decides to make a move at this pot is based on what he thinks of the first raiser's raise. Because unless Chartier's trapping with a monster hand, which is, which he'll be doing some of the time, but less of the time. Unless he's doing that, this is about whether Drenu Keller will fold if he makes a move. Of course, Sebastian could have picked up a hand here, but given the betting pattern, it's more likely he's thinking about making a move at this point.
On Sebastian.
He's also having a quick look at the blinds, see if they're thinking about doing anything.
Yeah, always important to keep an eye on the players who are due to act after you, see if you can pick up any signs of their intentions.
To an aggressive tournament player, who's a good tournament player with a big chip stack, this situation is like a red rag. A raise and a call in front of him.
Yeah.
He'll immediately consider whether he wants to make a move at the pot.
But at the same time, he'll be thinking Chartier would have considered that. So what if, as you suggested, Nick, he's trapping with a monster?
Well, he's got another option as well, which he looks like he's going to do, which is to call with the button.
82.
So
And play the hand in position.
3 players so far.
he looked. I mean, he looked to me like he was considering. I think he was definitely considering the more active approach, but he now gets to take a flop 3 ways in position, and we're going to see an interesting pot. 300,000 in this pot already.
And we are going to see a flop. 3-way action. And it will be the initial raiser, the pre-flop raiser. Drenu Keller is first to speak.
Now, Drenu Keller hasn't played many hands, and he's under the gun, so he's got, in the other players' minds, he'll have a pretty tight range in this hand.
He's reaching for chips, the blue chips.
Well, he's not supposed to bet here without the hand he's representing. He's not supposed to bet that big pair because he's betting into 2 players. But then that can work the other way as well, because now he looks incredibly strong because he's still prepared to bet into 2 players. Now, if Chartier called with a middle pair, which is certainly a decent part of his range, if he called with a middle pair here, this now makes this decision tricky. Let's say he's sitting with 8s or 9s here. He has 2 problems really. One is that the initial raiser's representing strength, and the other is that he's got Ruthenberg behind on the button.
Samuel's calls, 86,000.
Well, that's really interesting.
Didn't expect that, did we?
Well, it's interesting because it's very strong.
Sebastian passed, 2 players.
Sebastian has passed. I think Chartier's call looks strong here because Drenu Keller leading out into 2+ on this flop
Turn cards.
looks strong.
He's a queen of clubs.
It's tough to know if he's showing strength or if that's his relative inexperience.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, this is a really interesting hand now.
He raised pre-flop, he fired on the flop.
Well,
looks like he's going to fire again on the turn.
Has he played a hand this final table? This is either his first or second hand this final table. He was under the gun, he raises, he bets the flop, he's now barreling the turn. Whether it is or not, his hand looks extremely strong.
But not beyond the realms of possibility. They've both got strong hands here.
I think Sam Chartier has to have a hand because he called with players behind him before the flop. He called with a player behind him on the flop. Drenu Keller's a bit more unpredictable, just because we saw him yesterday make some, some slightly strange moves. I mean, this is a huge pot.
And call.
We've got 580,000 in this pot, and Drenu Keller's bet was quite small there. We've now got 679,000 in this pot.
A river card. Is it deuce of spades?
Well, it's the same decision for both players after that river card. And Drenu Keller's betting again.
Is he going to make one of his trademark small bets into a huge pot? Yes is the answer.
It's a very strange bet. Yeah, and
It's a compulsory call for Sam Chartier.
72,000.
Drenu Keller have the big pair?
Samuel calls. We see a king queen for Dren.
He has
2
king
pairs,
queen.
queens and jacks. And Dren wins the pot.
Well, very strange pot in my opinion. Very strange bet on the flop by Drenu Keller. And Chartier must have had that middle pair. We thought he had the whole hand. He must have had the 8s or the 9s.
King queen for Dren. Sam choosing not to show. You're absolutely right. I mean, betting out on that flop into 2 players with no hand.
Yeah, and not a big bet either.
Let's go to the floor because Kara's caught up with a previous EPT champion.
Well, look who we found in the crowd. It's one of our former EPT champions from Season 4. It's Julian Thew, one of our UK players. Now, you've been watching a little bit here in the stands. Give me a rundown on the players that you know.
I know Finton a little bit and Davide, and I kind of know a couple of them to see as well. So it's been interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so far down to 8 players here for today. Anything that